Okay, I'll call the meeting in order and we'll rise and pledge allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, snow greeted us a little bit this morning, but not too bad. Telling us to get ready. Okay, first on the agenda, Jackie, Extension Office.
We're here to ask to put $500 back into one of our accounts. It's the professional development. Brittany took a trip to Rhode Island, and actually she won an award for our county for going to Rhode Island, and the trip cost about $1,500. She also asked for she got $750 for a grant, and then also she got $500. She was going to get a $500 check to receive back to actually put into the account. So her trip would have only cost like $200. So what we're asking is we have the check to put that check back into that professional development account.
I know travel is extremely important and whatnot with my job, so I tried really hard to apply for grants to help cover some of that funding. So that trip was expensive. I mean, on the East Coast, this hotel, there is a lot of flight. I mean, there's a lot of expenses, so I tried really hard to get as much of it covered as I could. So.
What's the balance in that? Your line
It's not very much in there now, but if we put the $500 back, it may be $500 and some dollars. And we were planning on using that tomorrow. So, and if anything is left in there, it'll just go back to the county.
What's the process for that? Does that check have to come to you and be deposited and transferred to them?
Yes, we'll put it into county gen and then we'll appropriate it into their account if that's what you guys choose.
And that can be done before they want to spend it tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we can do that today. And get me the balance in there.
No, I'd like to say while she's looking, congratulations, Brittany.
Thank you.
Very proud of you. That was a great honor for you.
Do you guys want to know a little bit about the award?
Sure.
So it was with Easter Seals got a lot of money for a grant, and they wanted to start a garden as well as cooking classes for their clients. So they didn't have anybody on staff that could do those classes. So John Woodmancy in our office, he is the guru for gardening and plants. And anything outdoors for that matter. So he helped with establishing a garden out at Easterfield on site. And then we brought a lot of that produce that they grew and cultivated and brought it into the kitchen and talked about the nutrition and how to prepare it, as well as if you aren't going to grow it, how do you buy it at the grocery store. So it was a 16-week program. It was awesome. We had a lot of good feedback, and a lot of the clients love it. I often see the clients around town sometimes, and they remember me, and they're excited. They've told me that they've made some of the recipes that we've made. It was a good experience.
Good.
And there's $356 in there.
And that check store was made out to the county treasurer. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to transfer the $500 reimbursement check to the extension.
Back into that account?
Yes.
Okay. Got
Second.
A motion from Joan, a second from Kim that we approve the transaction. Any further discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed. Passes unanimously. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Amy.
Good morning, Council. Amy Biggs, Willoughby County Emergency Management. Come before you today to request reallocation or reappropriation back of also a reimbursement check in the amount of $1631.54. This has been receipted in by the auditor's office yesterday. The purpose of this check was both my deputy, Ed Scott, and myself received a scholarship to be able to attend the Emergency Management Alliance of Indiana Conference in Indianapolis back in October. So through the relationships that we've built with District 3 Healthcare Coalition, which is our district, 11 counties in Northeast Indiana, they sponsored us to scholarship to attend that conference. It covered the registration fees and all the hotel fees associated with that. So we'd like to request those funds to come back to our training budget, which is 37001, in order to bring that to, it's actually in the negative now because we had to pay that forward before we could get reimbursement. And it took us like 9 weeks to get that reimbursement. So it was an extended period of time. So that's what we are requesting this morning, is those funds to come back to that training fund budget.
And what's your balance rate?
I would have to ask her, but I believe it's in negative currently.
That's big and red and bold. No.
Looks like we are negative $1,196.
Okay.
I make a motion, we move the money 163154 back into account 37001.
I have a motion by Tom that we move this back into their account 37001. Is there a second?
One second.
Second by Joan. Any further discussion?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So do you have training issues yet this year?
We should be satisfied. No, every training that we've attended by this point in time has all been satisfied. We don't anticipate any further training funds to be expended this year.
Do you have any shortages anyplace else that would allow for this money to be transferred to cover some other line item?
I think we're solid on everything else. I know we did a transfer last month for salaries, but there wouldn't have been enough to cover that.
And that training line item in your budget doesn't roll over at the end of the year?
It does not, no, sir.
I think it's probably appropriate if we would just put back in what we need to bring it to zero.
I have no issues with that, sir.
And then the remaining go into
Just staying county general. But that's my 2 cents.
If she doesn't use it by the end of the month, it's going to roll back in there anyway, right? And you have nothing else planned for the next
No,
20
I
days?
just want to make sure that all the expenditures that I've entered into the accounts payable system have been satisfied. They should be accurate based upon the status that you have, but
Which way is easiest for you to do, the whole thing or just part of it?
It doesn't matter for it's the same receipt, so.
You want me to retract my motion?
If
I
it
retract
doesn't
my
make
motion.
any difference to Tiffany, then as far as putting it in there and taking it back, if it's just, if it's easy bookkeeping, then it doesn't matter. I just don't know how much work it was for you to do it twice rather than just once.
Either way is fine.
So you're just going to leave your motion as is because it automatically.
Yeah, it's automatically going to do it, so I'll leave my motion as is.
Joan, your second. Okay, so we have any further discussion? I'll ask for the question. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, passes.
thank you very much, council. Appreciate it.
Nine 911? No?
I have one, thank you. I received the invoice for the down payment for the radio system, so I just need to move money to cover that. And we have $167,118.25.
And you have that money in the E911 already, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's part of the 200,000 I put towards.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the additional program requested 167,818.25.
second.
Have a motion by Thor, a second by John, that we approved 167,818.25. And there's another 30,000 or so comes from that account, yeah. Any further discussion? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, say. Aye. Brian, highway?
Good morning.
Morning.
This is the tractors.
Yes.
Exact dollar amount.
So it's 120,690.
120,689.52.
This was from your last meeting. This is just here with the advertising for it, so we can now sign off on it. You vote on it.
We're gonna make you do it. You gotta ask, you gotta do the request.
We're asking for appropriation of 120,689.52. Cover the purchase of 2 Kubota 6 tractors and 2 diamond ditch mowers. Also trading in the Kubota M5 under 7220 and a 6110 and a ditch mower. Good mower that's not safe to use.
Brad.
Motion to approve the additional appropriation as requested, 120,689.
I will second.
Here we have a motion by Thor, second by Nick, to approve the 120,689.52. Discussion?
Yes, Brad. What's John Deere's over there at Warsaw now sitting on the lot in Whitley County?
What are they sitting on?
No, which tractor is the one that's sitting over there at Whitley County or Kosciuszko County on the John Deere lot?
Tractor of ours?
Yes.
My knowledge, there should not be one sitting over there that's ours.
Well, there is, because it's got Whitley County Highway Department on it.
Is that the one Katie traded in on, the one they got last year?
I would assume so, because both our guns are still on our lot. They're not traded in yet.
I just happened to see it the other day, and I couldn't figure out which one that would be.
I would assume it was one that was traded in earlier this year for the new John Deere with a boom mower that does 4 forks.
Okay.
When do we get these? You know?
Purchase agreements have been signed. Those tractors will hopefully, I think tractors are in, or should be in transit soon. I would guess probably the first of the year to South Dakota to have the mowers installed. Once they come off the line, which is going to be late winter, early spring. But we're expecting to see the tractors with the mowers on and back on our lot sometime in April.
Okay. So, my only question is, I certainly don't want to pay for them until they're done, you know, and I don't know if your mechanic and Scott can look them over or whatever.
Yeah. Once they're delivered back to the Kubota dealer here in town, I'm sure all 3 of us will run out and look at them and make sure everything is in line and proper and all the bolts are tight, everything looks good. So,
Tires got hair in them and,
right,
yeah.
yep. And we'll do a pre-delivery inspection.
Good.
Tiffany, would it make more sense to approve the purchase and wait till next year to appropriate the funds?
That's what I just wrote down, yeah. I didn't know that we weren't paying till later, so.
Yeah.
That's what my question was headed for.
Yeah, so I'm gonna withdraw my motion. And make a second motion if Nick will withdraw his second.
I will withdraw.
And then I'll just make a motion that we approve the purchase for this year. I'm going to stand behind the paying for it, but no, we will wait until next year to actually
Appropriate the funds.
Yes.
So we have a motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Okay. Motion by Thor, a second by Nick, that we We've approved the purchase. We're going to just wait to appropriate the funds next year. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, same. Thank you. Thank you. I think the coroner's here. So we have a request to appropriate $10,000 for additional autopsy supplies and another $6,089.14 for the radio. Any discussion on this?
Are these autopsy supplies already been done, or is this anticipating them in the future?
Autopsies, I believe they're still waiting on the bills to come in and receive. So autopsies, well, they've actually already been spent. We're negative 5,317 right now. I think they were waiting on November's bill to come in as well.
We know they've been busy. Cost more. Good question, John. Any other discussion? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the additional appropriation request, $16,089.14.
Got a motion by John. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Tom. Any further discussion?
We talked about that radio last month. Sheriff Spencer, is that about the price on them now? I've been going to Chiefs meetings, but they haven't got any prices yet on them. Is that?
If not, we do not have those radios in our cars. We'll still run the ones off the grant.
Okay.
The only ones we've replaced, we've got used. Now, used ones obviously aren't near that price, but they're still capable of doing what we're doing. So for me to judge on that price, I have never quoted a new car radio.
So is there used ones out there that he could use instead of purchasing?
We do. I can't speak. I don't want to speak for him. I don't think that's fair. But yes, we've used radios in our cars when ours burn up because ours are old enough you can't fix the boards.
Jason, where do you get those at?
Cost carrier.
Can we, I know he's still got HTs that he's got to change batteries in quite often. I guess that's $6,000 just for a radio for the van. And then I know later on he wants to do something about HTs. I thought originally the HTs were going to be gone and just use the car. Can we change our motion just to cover the 10,000 and hold or
Well, I
not?
think we approved this already.
We already approved it. Okay, so I second, so I'm done. Okay.
Any other discussion? John, you got a smile on your face.
No.
Okay. Then I got a motion on the floor that we approve $16,089.14, $10,000 for supplies, $6,089.14 for radio. Okay, call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, the same. Worden, 5-2.
Have a good holiday. I don't see some of you.
That's good.
You leaving now?
I guess I'll.
You got a doctor's note? I need to. You want a doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah, dispatch fill that on snow days as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What, they,
I kind of scribbled it. Okay, next on the agenda, Mark scratched off the agenda. Paula Worden.
Good morning.
Morning.
Paula Worden, Director of Community Corrections. Why I'm here today is, you have a little summary in front of you. In January, you will have additional appropriation and salary ordinances for grant awards that were received after budget sessions were completed. Why I'm here today is I would like to go forward with recruitment, at least posting the new position for the Veterans Treatment Court. So in January, I'm ready to go and make an offer. The other position is the nurse, which is already part-time. It just, she'll be full-time. So that doesn't require any recruitment.
Please be an appropriate time for us to pass the cookies out.
Please pass.
I had a
I
question.
forgot to bring my bottle of water.
Paul, I have a question.
Yes.
Was that homemade or did you buy the cake?
I went home and I put on my plastic gloves and I made those pretty fast.
Yeah,
So they are-
gloves on.
With gloves on.
Good.
Tis the season to wear gloves.
Hear that?
I do wear a hairnet, so
We'd like you to eat.
I don't have what hair left, so.
We'd like you to eat the first one, Kim.
Oh, I made the cookies.
You might add one to your mark for Kim.
Just for Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You think this is gonna sweeten the boat?
No, I went through the difficult steps already. Everybody knows I went to the personnel committee, so I followed steps. We did have to return a big portion of a grant that funds the reentry and the nurse, the JCAP reentry, just because we didn't get it started. And then till later in the year, and we were able to secure other funding for the mental health services, so we had to return that $40,000. So my hope is this year, since we're up and running, we have all our services in place, we won't be receiving that grant come this time next year. So really, the only thing I'm asking permission is I just want to be able to post the Veterans Treatment Court Case Manager because it is a new position. Start with an internal posting, see what type of results. Again, both positions, for the understanding we make the offer, it's only if the grant's renewed because it covers their wages and benefits.
The personnel committee factored this out as far as the pay scale.
This whole case manager came at 40. You already had the additional appropriation, probably already submitted that, so it's for the case manager.
49,649.
And because it's funded through the Office of Court Services, this case manager has to have a bachelor's degree. For our other grants, we can have a combination of education or experience, but this one does require a bachelor's degree because it's funded through the Office of Court Services, and we will require them to get their CSAM certification, which requires a bachelor's degree, and they can help do alcohol and drug assessments on site.
And then the grant runs out.
The grant runs out, they'll understand that unless I secure other grants, the position won't be. I really don't see that happening with Office of Court Services. Obviously, you all know problem-solving courts are a big push throughout the state. So I think as long as we show them the stats, they'll continue to support us.
Other questions? Your pleasure on this issue.
I really like how you laid it all out, so we have the true extent of.
That was
Tiffany.
the first time I submitted, I didn't. So.
Yeah, that's nice. It gives you the true numbers.
Okay, pleasure.
I'll motion that we approve the position.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Nick, a second by Kim that we approve the request. Any further discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks for the cookies.
You're welcome.
Tom, you got a personnel committee report?
Personnel committee, we only have one thing on it, the agenda for today, and Scott Wagner's here. He's went through the eliminating the health educator position and making a nurse, so he's gonna explain that again.
So when Carly resigned, the commissioners asked us to put a hold on that position for 30 days. So Dr. Burke and I decided to try to reapproach that position to something that would be more favorable, because we had gotten some kickback from individuals here at the county about sponsoring a position in the school, sort of going in there and doing kind of the school's job. So we took a look at that. We look at what the state was asking us through their Health First Indiana, and created the community health nurse position that would follow several categories in her job performance that would help fill those gaps that we currently don't do that the state would like us to do. So hopefully once we get that person in that position, we're only shy one or two of the functions that the state thinks every health department should be doing. So we're really close to achieving that with this position. So if you approve it, we'll get it posted right away and hopefully get somebody hired to start the first or second week of January, the 2024 budget, which has already got that position in there as a PAC 2. So that's covered. That position will also have the $20,000 of grant money that will be applied toward that position that we just did with Carly. Any questions?
Questions for Scott? I saw that.
It's the same pay. We're not doing any additionals or anything. It's just basically changing job
Just
description.
change that. We need to change that on the budget,
Yes.
but other than that, just the name. So.
Our pleasure.
Make a motion, we approve the request to fill the position.
We have a motion by Thor that we approve the request to fill that position.
I'll second.
Have a second by Joan. Further discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, the same.
Good day.
Thank you.
Anything else from me at all?
Anything for Scott?
COVID update?
COVID's minimal. RSV is slightly rising in the region, but not like we see on the coast. You might have heard about the pneumonia outbreak in Ohio. It's not really that big. I mean, anything over 4 or 5 cases they get all upset about anymore. Not seeing a big issue with that right now. You might have heard some talk about the Chinese pneumonia thing. According to our state epidemiologist, talked to her at a conference last week. She said, really, it's not. They don't think it's a special pathogen that's different. So there should be seeing a new variant coming out. It's just COVID suppressed everything because viruses fight each other. And so when they're in a community, the better virus wins over. So you might have saw COVID for 3 years, but now that's diminished. Flu and RSV and all the other rhinoviruses are now coming back up, and they're seeing a rise in some of that resurgence in some of those pre-existing issues, but nothing that we can see as a pathogen or anything. However, I have instructed April that she has ordered several thousands more Band-Aids, syringes, needles, just to keep on hand. They don't expire for years, so we should be prepared if there is ever another shot clinic or something that we need to do. Other than that,
Have you been seeing any flu outbreaks?
no. Flu's minimal for this time right now. It should have been higher, but it's not been. When we looked at summer months, which were the winter in the southern hemisphere, they look at Australia and Brazil, look at what they see coming through. They don't really see a lot of activity for flu, so knock on wood, it should be a smaller flu season, hopefully. I haven't had a lot of people saying, oh, they got this cough for 3 weeks or more. They just can't get rid of this cough. Can't really contribute to anything specifically right now. A lot of people think maybe mycoplasma, that's a different type. You haven't seen for a couple of years, but other than that. And that usually can be treated by your erythromycins and things like that. But again, you see them culture and that's all that kind of stuff is individual. Yep. Okay, have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. Anything else on the Personnel Committee?
I think that's it. We'll have a meeting after this. Jennifer, so other than that, that's all I had today. That's correct, right, Jen? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Rob, Commissioner report?
Morning, Rob Schuman with the County Commissioners. Commissioner Banks is sick. I think he has what Scott was talking about, the cough. And Commissioner Basinger's son is sick, so you get me. So, just a few things. Jail update, and this is probably, most of you, I would think, already know about this, but there's 4 sections to the building, and Brad from Weekend Construction, who's kind of the foreman, and his walk around or in the course of his duties, I don't know, probably been a month and a half ago now, found where one of the areas of the roof was starting to rust. The galvanizing process, evidently there was a problem with it or something, and so meetings were had and to determine a course of action. I think the preference on their end would have been to try to treat it or paint over it or figure a way to remove it. My personal position was it's a brand new building, tear it up and do it right. And so they brought in an independent consultant. Elevata's hired him, and they cut several holes in the roof to inspect it thoroughly, and he wrote a report, and he said that his recommendation was to replace it with new. So there's good news, bad news. The bad news is it's going to slow the process on the build down by a couple of months. Good news is it's not going to cost us anything because the roofing contractor is accepting responsibility for that. So then secondarily, we entered into an agreement with the American Structure Point Incorporated to move forward with creating the Whitley County Safe Streets for All action plan. Brad Allen, the engineer, has been working on that. Also in the GIS office, funding for the pictometry contract has been determined. The total cost is roughly $135,000. That's going to be covered, $60,000 from various departments contributing over the 3 years, and then the remainder, $75,000, will come from CEDAT. The flyover will be completed this spring, in spring of 2024, at a 3-inch pixel resolution. And then lastly, the new and improved county website is up and functioning, and you can visit it whitleycounty.in.gov. I was just looking at it yesterday. It's really nice. So, any questions for me?
Is there a construction meeting today?
Yes, there is, 2 p.m. out at the jail site.
Any questions?
Any movement on the second drive? Any other?
I believe we were looking at an appraisal. I don't know that, I'm not sure where we're at with that, but that was the next step.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. There has been a little bit of interest. I think Kim in the October meeting asked about council getting their own legal counsel. I just want to bring that up very lightly today. Just think about it. Maybe in January we can discuss that. That we have our own attorney. So, like I said, I've been. Some of the council have asked about that, so just think that we probably have to create a line item and put some money in there so that we can fund that. And obviously, if we used to do it, we'd have to find someone that we agreed to be legal counsel for us. So just think about it, and maybe we'll talk about it more in January. Okay, got the minutes of November 7th.
I'll motion we approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Motion by Thor, second by Kim.
No.
No, oh, Nick, excuse me. Nick made the motion, Kim seconded it for November 7th. Any additional corrections? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes, raise your right hand. All those opposed, the same. And I abstain. I was not here. Any comments from the public? Yes. Councilman Barrett?
I have nothing.
Councilwoman Western?
No, I have nothing.
Councilman Hodges?
Yes, I would also like to put on our agenda for January to have discussion about going to ads and kind of moving forward with technology rather than all the paperwork we print out, hand out, and it's not even so much the paperwork, it's just trying to maintain all of these records myself. And to keep them would be so much easier if they're digital. And so I think we've got some prices. This would be a good time for us to move forward and go to ads for our business instead of.
Okay. I see that is on the agenda. We'll work on that right before Christmas, the agenda, so. Anything else?
Nope.
Oh, Nick, anything,
Skip on.
council?
I'm good to go.
Tom?
Can you give me an update, refresh my memory of what
Yep,
this?
so the 1782 notices come through the state after they look at budgets and review them. They have signed off on solid waste, so it's just
So
letting you know.
nothing's changed, they just have to okay.
There was a change when they had put in numbers, I believe it was, they had put in 100,000 instead of 10, so that number is smaller than what
Okay.
you guys saw.
Okay,
Add a zero.
Yeah.
okay,
So after that correction, that is the new
That's what
budget
this-
amount for solid waste.
okay.
We're
Thank you.
still waiting to hear back about the counties yet.
That's all I.
Councilman Wheeler?
I have.
And I have none. Wish everyone happy holidays. And unless something happens, we'll see you next year.
Good. How are you?